So Disney's Wish is back in the zeitgeist because the music from Wonka and Journey to Bethlehem is doing so well, and it's coming up in the same breath in the comments for those songs. This is how the music from Wish should have been. This is what the villain song in Wish should have been, etc. Variations of those. And then the replies to those are always, well, it's because Disney strayed from its tradition and didn't use Broadway songwriters. And that's why the music from Wish fails. Now, I have not seen Wish, so I'm not making that judgment call myself. I will see it, and I will see it with an open mind. I'm on the spectrum, and Disney is one of my special interests. I have studied the company pretty much my entire life, and this assertion that Disney has always relied on Broadway composers is just so wrong. Going back to the very first film, Snow White, that was written by people who got their start writing songs on the radio. And then we go to Cinderella, also written by pop songwriters. We get to Lady and the Tramp, written by not only a pop songwriter, but a bona fide pop star, Peggy Lee. It would be like having Taylor Swift write the next Disney musical for 2024. Sleeping Beauty is kind of an outlier because it uses the music from the original ballet. It's still not Broadway. Then we get into the Sherman Brothers era, and you're thinking, oh, well, that's Broadway. They've got to be Broadway, right? No, they became famous because they wrote multiple hit pop songs for teen artists and boy bands and things like that. Their dad was also a really successful pop songwriter, so they had that legacy of pop music. We get to Pete's Dragon, written by one of the favorite composers of Elvis Presley and Roy Orbison, pop music composers. We get to Oliver and Company. The whole point of that film, the score, was to bring in pop musicians and have their take on songs. We have Bette Midler, we have Billy Joel, we have Huey Lewis. And then we get to finally a Broadway produced musical, which is Little Mermaid. So we're talking very recently in this company's 100-year history. And even within the Disney Renaissance, we have examples like The Lion King, written by Elton John, bona fide pop superstar. Tarzan, written by Phil Collins, bona fide pop superstar. So if you look at the whole history, it's a very small percentage, basically our lifetimes, where Disney has relied on Broadway composers. But again, during those periods, there's still tons of examples of them going back to their roots, their true roots, which is using pop musicians and pop singer-songwriters to write their musicals. So when Disney hired a pop songwriter to write the songs for Wish, that was actually honoring the company's legacy. And I think whether this movie succeeds or fails as a musical has nothing to do if it was a pop songwriter. And it's also worth noting that Wonka and Journey to Bethlehem, both written by pop singer-songwriters.